do me a favor, subscribe to my channel.
Hey everyone, Kyle here from Poseidon's Pets. So today what I'm going to do for you is I've got an aquaponics update. So my aquaponics system, it's been struggling. If you watched my last video, you saw that the plants just weren't doing very well at all. And one thing I found out was, you know, in Arizona, we have a lot of evaporation. So as that water is evaporating, my carbonates have started to just compact in the system. So as that water evaporates, the carbonates aren't going to evaporate out of there. So they're just going to start to build up. My pH got super high. I was sitting at almost 9. It was ridiculous. So what I did was I did a 50% water change, and I've been topping off with RO water. So slowly but surely I'm getting my pH down, because for the plants, they're going to get what's called pH lockout. So as that pH gets super high, the nutrients aren't going to be able to be absorbed by those plants. And they're already struggling with the hot temperature, so I got to just do what I can to provide the best environment for them. So topping off with that RO water, you know, it's not going to have those carbonates in it, and it's going to help to you know, bring those carbonates back to a good steady level. Because as the nitrification process happens, the acids are going to build up. It's going to eat away at those carbonates. Once my pH gets into a good range, I could start adding some other stuff like calcium bicarbonate and potassium bicarbonate, and that's going to help to give the plants their calcium and their potassium that they need. I think that's right, potassium bicarbonate. I've been doing more research into it and just learning more about some of the additives and more of the water chemistry. And I'm doing this a lot with my hand, you know. So that's definitely helping with it. But what I'm gonna do for you guys today is I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. There I go again. The hand movements, you know me, I'm very talkative with my hand. I'm gonna pull these tomatoes up. They don't look good. They need to get out of there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those guys out of there. And I think I'm gonna add some hydroton to the system. So I'm gonna take some of that lava rock out, and I'm just gonna put this on top of the lava rock. That way it's a little bit easier of a medium for me to dig around in, because that lava rock is kind of hard to dig in to plant new plants. So before I do all that, I'm gonna give you guys a quick update on it and just show you how everything's doing, and then we're gonna get those tomato plants out of there, and I got some new plants. So stay tuned. Definitely do me a favor, hit that like button, leave a comment what you think about these aquaponics videos. You know, I love you guys so much, and we're almost at 1,000. I'm at 820 subscribers. That's awesome. You know, you guys make this possible for me. I love making content for you, and this is just me and my life. So I'm just documenting things I'm doing, showing you things I've learned, and you guys love it. So thank you all so much. Definitely appreciate it. But let's get to it. So first things first, I got a seedling. So I haven't done anything with the net cups since I planted those seeds in there. I kind of wanted to see what was going to happen. I've got some seeds that I'm going to start inside and see how those do, and then transition them out here. But I got a seedling here, and there's another one here. So I don't know if that is the Armenian cucumbers or the Malabar spinach. It's definitely not cilantro, I know that, but that's awesome. Now that we saw the seedling, you know, the stars of the show, my little guppies I got in here, and they're all doing really good. They're fat and happy, and as you can see, they know that I'm bringing them food, so they're all excited to get some food right now. But oh, got one of the baby mollies from the totes that I had set up, and it's still doing good in there. But fish are all happy. They're surviving the pH swing as I adjust the water, which I'm doing that gradually. You know, with adjusting pH, you don't want to do it too fast. You want to do it super slow. Little fishies. If you watched my last video on setting up my guppy tank, my quarantine tank I have inside, I also got some gambusia, or mosquito fish. And I've got them in here as a quarantine. And that's a massive glare. Let's see if we can fix that. Oh. That's a little bit better. But I haven't seen any deaths of these guys, so they're doing good too. That was a big cherry shrimp. know if you guys can see that. I didn't even know there was shrimp in here. That's awesome. All right, let's see if you guys can see them. That is just an awful angle. Yeah, that's not much better. But there's fish in here, I promise. They're all doing good. As you see, no dead bodies floating. Now, I'm gonna go wash my hands because like I said, this is still a quarantine. I don't know how these guys are doing and if they're sick or anything. Now you'll notice that the tomato plants just aren't doing very well. They're not living, as we would say, you know. I do have some new growth on this back plant. So this part right here is all new growth, but I don't really know if I want to just let that grow or pull it out, but I think I'm just gonna toss it and try again next year with tomatoes, because I started them kind of late and it's pretty hot, and this was a new system that I didn't really know how to calibrate right away. So now that it's been going for a little bit, I'm getting better results with the plants. It's been a long time since I've grown tomatoes successfully. I used to grow them back in California all the time, but here out in Arizona, I haven't really had too much luck with them. I know they are susceptible to some diseases, and some of that looks like a disease. It doesn't really look like, you know, it's lacking in nutrients. It's either too hot or there's something else going on. So I'm just gonna pull those guys up. I'm gonna plant some other stuff in there and hope for the best on the new things that I plant in there. Because, you know, summer's starting to end here, so I'm gonna start planting more towards my fall stuff and just hope that they can get through this hot patch that we've had and, you know, survive long enough to get into the actual months where they're gonna start fruiting and stuff like that. So let's take a closer look. So yeah, this guy right here, super wilted, leaves are crunchy. He's just not doing good. And I'm sure the roots are, yeah. So for the root system, you don't want this dark color like this. They're just, you see that? They're just rotting away. So this looks closer to what we want, but it's just not doing well. Now for this guy, he's actually not doing too bad. He does have some dry leaves, but all of this right here, this is all new growth. So I could let this go and hope for the best, you know, maybe get a couple tomatoes out of it, but I'm not doing this for just a small harvest. You know, I need something that's gonna sustain me for a while. I need a continued source of food. So this guy's taking up space that I could be growing something that's gonna do a lot better. But yeah, look at that. You see those roots? That's a lot better. So that's what healthy roots are supposed to look like. You know, nice and white like this, firm. Not starting to rot away on you. So this guy was starting to come back. He's not doing too bad. And, you know, it kind of does make me sad to pull this up because it does have quite a bit of new growth. You know what? I may just plant this guy in the corner, put him back here. He's not gonna take up a lot of space. We'll see what happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the lava rock from here, put some of that hydroton in there, and then I'm gonna show you guys some of the other plants I got. But we'll keep this guy going. So to keep him from drying out, I'm just gonna pop his roots right into the grow bed there. Now, as you saw in my last video, these guys were struggling. You know, a lot of turned leaves, a lot of dead spots on their leaves. They were losing leaves quite a bit. But look at all this new growth. There's even some flowers on there, and this is the bell pepper that doesn't do really well. And you'll notice the chlorosis of the leaves here. So that's an iron deficiency. So with my pH as high as it is, dosing iron is gonna do nothing right now because that iron is not gonna be available for the plant to uptake. So once I get this balanced out and where it needs to be, you know, dosing that iron is definitely going to help this plant out. But check this out. Let's go in for a closer view. Look at all the new growth on this. Like, you can tell that this plant is getting a lot healthier. So yeah, it still has some dead spots, but those will never recover. What you got to look at is the new stuff and just make sure that the plant isn't getting any worse. So this guy, this looks great. All of this new growth, like, it looks amazing. So it's doing so much better with just the short amount of, you know, pH change that I did. So not only did I correct the pH and continuing to correct the pH, but I started using Epsom salt. So I dosed about 2 ounces of Epsom salts in this system, which it's a 110 gallon system. And I found the math from somebody else who was having a similar problem, and I just halved the dose because they had a 200 gallon system. So 2 ounces for my 110 gallon system, you know, that was good for dosing that Epsom salt. The thing with Epsom salt is, though, it's magnesium. So when you have calcium and you have magnesium, they fight. So the roots can only take up one at a time. And if you have so much calcium, it's gonna hold on to those roots so it can't get absorbed. And then your magnesium's gonna be over here like, well, I wanna join the party. I wanna cling on to those roots too, but it can't. So calcium and magnesium need to be dosed at the same time. But since my water's so hard, I already knew that I had so much calcium in the system that I got to tear it down. So adding more magnesium kind of helps to give it a fighting chance to be able to get in there and get in its spot so that it can actually be absorbed into the plant as well. Not only that, I started using MaxiCrop. So what this is this is water soluble seaweed extract, and it's high in potassium. So there's a few different nutrient deficiencies that happen with an aquaponics system. Iron being the number one, nitrogen, if you can believe it, magnesium and calcium because they fight. So for that, as long as you know the science behind it, which I really didn't know going into this, I had done my research and learned quite a bit about it, but some of that pH stuff just went over my head, and you know, it's something that I never really fully understood, but I'm starting to grasp it a little bit better. And pH has always been my weak point, even with fish. And you know, they always tell you don't chase pH, you're gonna end up killing your fish. And with pH, you wanna do gradual changes. So you don't wanna do massive swings, because that pH scale, those are thousands. So each little notch is thousands of parts per million, or whatever the rating is, you know, potential hardness, possible hydrogen. There's a few different things that they say it is. And like I said, I'm not a chemist. I'm not an expert on any of this. I do know what I know, and it's working for me. As you see, my peppers are coming back. It has been a little bit cooler, so I know that's part of it too. But I'm excited for this. You know, it's starting to work out. Everything's coming together. But now this is the fun part. I get to grow some food. Well, let me show you the new plants. I got new plants. I got another sweet banana. These are one of my favorite peppers to pickle, but eat raw as well. And as you see, it's doing great. So if I could get another one of these in there, start to doing just as good, I'm excited for that. Oh, I bought 2. So I got 2 more of those. And I got cucumber. So my diet being vegan, I eat a lot of cucumbers, I eat a lot of peppers. So this is gonna work out for me. I'm gonna have all the cucumbers, all the peppers I could eat. I'm excited for that. So I'm gonna go de-dirt these so I can put them in the system, take out some of those lava rock, plant some plants. Fun stuff. I'm also gonna toss all of these coriander seeds, the cilantro, into the bed, and if they sprout, they sprout. All right, so we got those guys all in there. You know, the Hydroton, it would work a lot better if I had just straight Hydroton in there, but mixing it in with that lava rock gave it an easier surface to kind of dig around in, so I definitely like that. And then as it starts to get waterlogged, it'll start to hold the plants in place better. Right now it's light because it hasn't absorbed water, so it's just allowing the plants to kind of move around a little bit, but as their roots settle in, they'll hold on to stuff more. So I do want to give a shout out to Dead Fred 821, because in my first aquaponics video, he had mentioned that my shrouds are nice, but they're kind of tight in there, so I can't actually get my hand in there to get the bell out. And he suggested putting some type of loop on there. So all I did was super glue a piece of plastic thread onto that shroud. So now if I need to get it out, I can just lift it up by that. That way if I need to do any maintenance, need to get in there, I can. But they look good. I'm excited for them. And for those of you wondering about the dosage on the Maxi Crop, what I've been doing is following the instructions on the back, which says for 100 gallons, add 2 teaspoons of product every 7 to 14 days. So this is 110, and I've been adding 2 teaspoons about every 10 days, and I'll probably bump it up to 14 days now because the plants are starting to look better, because I don't feel like they need as much potassium in there as this is giving them. And of course, if I start to see any type of deficiencies, I'll start to add it back in at a higher rate. But I'm excited for these guys. I hope the tomato plant does come back and make it. The roots look healthy, that new growth is promising, and I know pulling it out of the system and putting it back in is gonna stun it for a little bit because it's gonna want to reestablish itself. They don't like to be moved around a lot, so if you could avoid moving them around, that's great. Peppers look good. Cucumbers didn't have a very extensive root system on them, but they're cucumbers. Their roots are very light. They're mostly made out of water, so they're gonna work perfect in this system. And I eat a lot of cucumbers. My cucumbers do usually really well when I grow them. And if you're wondering, these are a vine. So what they're gonna do is overflow the bucket. And as that happens, I'm just gonna drape them over the side, kind of train them where I want to. I may build something to, you know, hang them from, but I'm just gonna let them go on the ground. Whatever happens, happens, you know. They grow like crazy, so they're gonna send out mass amounts of vines, and as many cucumbers as I can get is great. I'll make some pickles, make some sandwiches, all good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know, I definitely appreciate it. Do me a favor, hit that like button, leave me a comment down below what you thought about this video, and you know, if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 1,000. We're almost there, you know, 820. It's not a lot of people, 180. And it's been about a year and a half on this journey, and it's been great. I definitely love you guys so much and appreciate all your feedback and your positivity. You guys are great. So as always, if you love me, you love my fish, you love my videos, hit that subscribe button. So thanks again for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.